Yo, what up? It's me again. I'm in the living room today, and my dad's watching TV, so that's what you're gonna hear. Um, I wanted to tackle the big R, racism. Yes, that word that's been misused, overused, watered down. I'd like to tackle that today. And I watched the video. It's an older video. There was this lady. She's from Asia, and she let it be known she was from Asia. And she was at a BLM rally, and so she got the bullhorn and she told a story. The story was that her and a friend were, I think they were walking, and they got to a crosswalk. The crosswalk, the light turned green, so they started walking. This car almost hit them. It was a black person, and the black person yelled at him, "Go back to your country." Well, in the story, this white lady came, pulled next to him, made sure they were okay, asked if she could do anything for him, call the cops. I mean, if she could call the cops, whatever. And they were like, "No, we're good. We're just shocked." And during the speech, she said we need to look at each other as individuals and not see color. Black people can't be racist. Well, that was it. The BLM people tried to silence her, as they often do when someone makes a valid point. And one of the arguments was that racism is power with prejudice. And there are several reasons that black people give and BLM give that black people cannot be racist, which is funny because it's never stated that Asian people, even though they're people of color, Asian people can't be racist. They don't say that Native American people can't be racist. Only black people that can't be racist. But here's the thing about this power and prejudice thing. A simple example is if a black man owns a business or a black woman owns a business and does not like their white employees because they're white. You have the power, you have the prejudice. Can't say the history because this black business owner was never a slave. So, what's the history there? Oh, sure, maybe they've been through civil rights movements. Sure, maybe they've been harassed by some white people, but not all white people. They were never systematically, and that's a word that I can't stand. Systematically or systemic. I can't stand that word because it's used as a stupid excuse that makes absolutely no sense. But the point is, first of all, is that if you have the prejudice, okay, you don't like white people, and you're black, you have the power over your employees, and you have white employees. Guess what? You are a racist. You have the same exact reasons, just like power and privilege. They don't really use privilege anymore because people are starting to now. When I say they, I mean BLM and racist black people, and even the racist idiot white people and people of other colors who agree with this garbage. Um, they don't use power and privilege anymore. And the reason they don't use privilege anymore is because people are starting to point out, homie, you live in the same America that we do. You have the same exact rights that we do. In fact, you have more privilege. Black people have more privilege in this country than even Asians do, and white people do. Because there are laws that exist on the books. There are things that exist on the books that give black people uh, plenty of different advantages over white people and Asian people, such as affirmative action, such as minority scholarships that normally go to black people, even if there is another minority within that school. And I say normally, I don't mean it's the case all the time. The fact that black people get extra points in the SATs while Asians get negative points. I think it's negative 150 on the SATs just for being Asian. So advantages. There's no legal thing. There's nothing legal on the books that give white people an advantage over black people. But the reason I hate the word systemic is because it's an excuse. It's something to pile on this racist narrative that oppresses black people. And what I mean by that is The a system cannot be racist. A racist system can be created, but it's not the system that's racist. It's the individuals that create it that is racist. But the thing is, with all the laws that are coming out, with all the awareness that's coming out as far as racism and the way the system used to be, the way that it did oppress black people, it's changed a lot. You may not see it, but that's because you were taught not to see it. The individual is racist. Your boss might be racist. You might have a racist senator, but that does not mean that the government is racist. That doesn't mean the business that you're working for itself is racist. It just means that one person within there, or a few people within it, that's racist. But if you have a system that is racist, okay, say there's an organization that's racist because they are all for white people or they benefit only white people, what do you think BLM is? BLM is the same thing. It's for black people by black people, which, hey, black people deserve their own things just like we all deserve our own things. But it becomes problematic when the only thing that is said is Black Lives Matter. When somebody brings up, like this Asian lady brings up, hey, look, black people can be racist because this happened to me, and it's like, well, no, you can't say that. That just shows that, yeah, no, Black Lives Matter does allow racism within itself because it's shutting down people who have had experiences with black people in the same way that black people state that they've had encounters with white people that they would consider to be racist. So the problem that I have is this hypocritical, this, everything's a culture now. Cancel culture, this culture, that culture, hypocrite culture. I'm gonna call it hashtag hypocrite culture. And this culture is when somebody of one race or one belief of racial thinking says that X is racist, while within the race that they themselves support do the same thing, and it's not considered racist. That is, I guess, hypocrite culture. So, in other words, if this Asian lady was told to go back to Asia by a black person, it's not racist. But if a white person were to tell a black person to go back to Africa, well, it is racist. I'm sorry, but 1 plus 1 equals 2 in white people, black people, Chinese, Japanese, in all cultures. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Okay, you can't just say, well, number 1 is oppressive to me, so it can't be 1 plus 1 equals 2. It has to be another way to become 2. You can't do that. You know, you can't exclude that. You can't take that away from what actually is. Sure, you can find another way to get to, like 4 minus 2 is 2, but that does not exclude the fact that 1 plus 1 still equals 2. And that does not exclude the fact that if someone of color, whether it be white, black, Chinese, because white is color, believe it or not, this is skin color. Okay? So it doesn't exclude the fact that if someone of color, whether it be black, white, yellow, red, brown, says something that would get someone else called racist, it's racist. And that's my word. This lady was correct. We do need to stop looking at skin color and start looking at humanity, start looking inside the heart of people, and stop labeling everything as racist when you disagree with it. But then when someone calls you out, when you do the same thing that you've already said is racist, you need to sit there and think about it and go, wait, maybe I really am. Maybe this behavior was racist. I may not be inherently racist, but holy crap, I really need to reevaluate the things that I've said, the things that I've done. And I also need to realize that prejudice is possible in every race. And if that prejudice exists within a power structure that I'm the head of, it's racism. So yeah, it's just what I wanted to tell you guys. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a great weekend. I love you guys. Deuces.